if I were the creator of a drink and somebody took a sip and did this. I don't know what I would make of it. Big.
You know what it reminds me of is Cricket from It's Always Sunny when he's like talking about his scar on his neck looking like a dog vagina, and then he has that lemon and he goes.
You've got a combo going there of the refreshing noise, but then also it's kind of a gagging, choking.
What is that? That is like a visceral.
I think when you're so parched, you're so thirsty.
No, I understand what it is, but it's interesting that it's a thing. I wonder if it spreads across culture. You know, like in India, do they go, you know, like they'll do that like head shake thing to say yes. Yeah, but not the bobbing, but like the back and forth.
No, it's a kebab. I've been to India and I've been sick in India, shitting my pants. And I've seen the head bob.
They don't go up and down.
No, they
go left and right.
Yeah,
it's like a wobble.
Yeah, I think a bob and a wobble are similar descriptions of it.
No, bobbing is like forward and backward. Or like up and down, like bob. Yeah, like a bobber.
No.
Go up and down.
No.
Yeah.
Then why do they call it a bobblehead? Because a bobblehead doesn't just go up and down and left or it goes all directions is what I'm saying.
Well, then you're still wrong then, calling it a bobble.
I'm not, because a bobblehead goes all directions.
Because they don't go all around.
They
only go left and right.
It's a bit of a up and down, left and right type motion. No. I told you. I've seen it firsthand.
Yeah,
Where?
I've also seen it.
On your travels, your endless worldly travels?
A lot of the people that my mom worked with were from India, and they did the bobbly head
What
thing. What
direction do Indians move their heads?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, right here it says the head wobble explained. But I would agree that maybe bobble is a bit misleading, but wobble is not, and wobble does not just mean one direction.
Weebles wobble.
The Indian head shake. What direction? The Indian head shake. The head bobble or head wobble is a nonverbal gesture that involves tilting the head from side to side in arcs. Arcs!
Oh! Side to side.
No, there was some forward.
What's an arc?
There was some forward and backward motion that I saw.
All right. Well, they were just saying yes.
No, they
to
weren't.
you because you're American. They're like, they don't understand what I'm doing, so I'll go up and down.
It was not just saying yes. It was after we tipped the cab driver going back to the airport, which is probably the equivalent of $6, but to him it was a lot of money, and he cried. Whoa. India, it was a very, very strange place in that they say the caste system no longer exists, but if it's not formal, it's definitely informal. And nice things are certainly excluded to most people. There's no access. Like even the hotel itself, which was a pretty nice hotel, gated, like a big gate with guards. And it was weird. Mm-hmm. And I felt for a lot of people because, next door there was a landfill next to this really nice property. And then you've got families digging through the landfill. I don't say any of this passing judgment other than, the caste system. Yeah, the caste system's still fucking existing. Yeah. Even if they say it doesn't. And no, I was just going to say, and skin color still apparently, talking to what we call a fixer in the business when you go on a shoot in a different country and, there could be a language barrier or you need someone just to kind of show you around and help you navigate things. Man, he was telling us all about how the darker your skin is, the more you're treated like shit. So,
yeah,
it exists everywhere, and it It's a shame.
It is a shame. I saw a thing called, I guess it's like, what's it called? Indian roulette, where you go on Google Earth and you zoom into like random places in India and you see, like, the goal is to be able to find a place where there isn't trash everywhere. And it's really hard to do. And this isn't like commentary on like, aren't people in India stupid? It's just
Nah,
like,
that's
damn,
a
what's
game.
happening there?
Somebody set up
Like, that
somebody
sucks.
set it up thinking they were clever in their game. Go on Google Maps.
Well, it is kind of clever. I've never thought about it, but it is very true. Like, why is there no infrastructure to handle waste there?
There's so many people.
Yeah.
I don't understand the economy of India enough to speak to it.
Yeah,
So I
no.
should probably not try.
Yeah.
Going back to the head wobble/bobble, I found something that says the head wobble is more prevalent in the south of India and less intense as you travel north. So maybe you've been dealing with northern Indians, whereas I was in Bangalore and
Bangalore.
that's not completely south in the country, but it's moving that direction. So
That makes sense that would be the reason why there's a difference
I saw
we're talking about.
I
So-
saw a more intense
I'll
head
take it.
wobble.
No, I think
Mine
head
was
wobble
multiple
more intense.
directions. To me, that's an upgrade in
okay.
intensity.
Okay. Sure. Upgrade.
All right, start the fucking show.
All right. Welcome to One Topic, where we stick to one topic. My name is Alton Fisher.
My name is Greg Russ. I was joking on my coffee, my cold coffee.
Oh, don't. You decided to take a big sip
As
right before
you
needed to
started
talk.
speaking, I wanted to sneak in one last
Yeah.
sip of my cold coffee and my Phantom of the Opera mug.
It's a
got the
Phantom
mask
mug?
on there, the mask that's not actually used in the show.
Why did they do that? Why did they make that the visual when that's not
They
what
did
he wears?
have him try to wear that mask at first. It was just too difficult to sing in.
Is that why? So like, but then wouldn't they just like, oh shit, we have to change all of this, like
The marketing, I think maybe the
marketing.
maybe the marketing was
no.
already locked,
Keep
and that
it.
would have cost a lot of money. I also think the 2/3 of a face mask, is that what you'd call it? Like, it covers everything but his mouth, pretty much. The one
he wears now,
the one they use in the
like the one he
marketing.
actually wears. Oh no, that's just like the top of someone's.
I mean, if
face,
you look at
right?
it covers pretty much everything but the bottom of the nose and the mouth. The forehead's covered.
Oh right,
I
okay,
think
yeah.
that's visually a better mask anyway. So while it doesn't match what's actually used in the show, for marketing purposes, I can understand.
It really is pretty dumb. Like if you think about Phantom,
How
like
dare
it's kind
you.
of dumb. No, listen, that does not mean that I don't fully endorse.
Also,
Phantom of
sorry,
the Opera.
Christina,
But
if she's listening to this, because she
Why?
is a huge Phantom fan, a fan with a PH.
fan.
So get into it.
Fan. Like the whole idea of it is like, so he's got some disfigurement, and he has mommy issues, abandonment, and so was he a little boy with Christine as a little girl,
I don't think
or
he's
is he like way
older
older than her?
Well,
All right, if
well,
he's like 10 years older?
You're getting into there's different sources. I think
Well, I'm talking
I
about
think
the
in the book maybe
musical.
she is pretty young. I would,
Well, no, the book. No, let's not talk about the book because the book is.
but
a
that's what
different
the
animal.
whole
I'm
the
talking
shows
about
the show the production's
production.
based on the book. It's just scaled back a bit. Like Raoul has a brother, and Raoul's brother is really the cocky, annoying one, and the Raoul in the book isn't as annoying, and he's more likable. And they combine the two characters for the show. I learned all this from Christina the other day.
Oh, I never really thought that Raoul was all that bad.
Yeah, I don't know. She doesn't want to go to dinner, and he says, "We're going to dinner. Let me fetch my hat."
Oh, not
in the musical. Remember when he goes to the dressing room and he's like, "We need to go." She's like, "No, I don't want to go to dinner." He's like, "Hush, hush, we're going. Let me fetch my hat." And then that's when Phantom appears in the mirror.
He's like, "I got you, girl. And you don't want to go to dinner. Come with me to my basement."
And then he gets whiny like Aiden from Sex and the City when Christine's not wearing the engagement ring. It's around her neck. He's like, "Why isn't it on your hand?"
No, that's fucked up, though. Don't get me started on this Sex and the City Aiden scenario. Because she fucked that up. Christine.
Well, Carrie Aiden was a little whiny bitch about it. Here's what I would...
He wasn't? She was so squirrely, but then like telling him how much she loves him, but then acting so weird with him. And so he was like trying to put his faith in what she's saying, but all she was doing was fucking around.
I would have just said... Nah, the ring was after the fact, though. That's when they got back together.
Yeah, it's still. She was still acting squirrely then. Why wouldn't she wear it?
Leave the relationship. Why would he even go back?
Oh, because it was a pear-shaped... No, that was later. Because she got the nice ring later.
Him. And she gave...
Yeah, so she should have said... So no wonder he was like being weird. Listen, don't... That's like gaslighting him. To say like he was acting so weird. Like no wonder he was acting weird.
It was a series of events. I don't like smokers. Then why don't date her?
Hey, and that's what he was saying. He was like, look, if you're going to keep smoking, I can't date you. And so she decided to lie. So she's at fault. So he was being honest the whole time.
I don't like placing the demands. He should have just said, no, it's not going to work instead of giving her the option.
I would have, but no. But she said, oh, I barely even smoke. Like, it's not even a thing. So she was like, no, so okay, cool. Because I still want to, like, if I'm him, I'd be like, yeah, because I still want to see you. Because I'm that way. If my partner smoked, I would not be okay with it. I just wouldn't
have the audacity.
I canceled a date with somebody because I looked at their, like, profile some more, and I saw one where he was smiling, and he looked like he had smoker's teeth or whatever I thought. And so I texted him. I said, I was like, hey, do you smoke? And he said, yeah. And I was like, oh, I'm not interested.
That's a shame. I feel like...
He's like, are you for real? It's like, yeah. It's a deal breaker.
I get it. Like somebody doesn't like smoking and it is a deal breaker. That's fair enough. Aiden had the audacity to put that on Carrie. If you don't quit, then we will not date. That's fine. He pretty much put her in a spot where he's trying to control her behavior.
Control her behavior? He was just telling her, okay, well, he's controlling her behavior by saying, if this, then that.
Yeah, but realistically,
that's not controlling. That's just like,
that it's not just so easy to quit smoking. So,
right, but she downplayed it by acting like it's like barely a thing that she even really does. If
he's a puss.
Told him the truth, then he'd be like,
lets people walk all over him.
Well, that's not over him.
This whole thing should have never gotten back together with her after her.
No, he shouldn't. He loved her. The heart.
And then after she refused to, look, I don't really deny that not wearing the ring and putting on a necklace and saying it's closer to my heart this way is bullshit. I don't
manipulative.
Yeah, I just feel like if I were him, it's like fine, just forget it. It's like you don't want to wear the fucking thing, forget it. But okay, well, I know what's really going on here, but I won't admit it to myself.
He didn't. It was hard for him to admit it because he loved her so much, and they had been through so much where he like forgave her.
I always think it's hard when we talk about Sex and the City, a show from when it debut, premiere 98.
God, before 2001.
So we're approaching 30 years, and we're still analyzing the fucking show in ways that people have already done a million times over.
Nothing wrong with that.
I don't know what kind of appeal it has to it.
Listen, let's talk about something more recent, like Phantom of the Opera.
87.
Okay, but let's say that there isn't too much of an age difference between Christine and Phantom, right? Let's say it's 10 years, which is not crazy, right? She's like in her early 20s. He's in his early 30s.
So let's
reckless.
see.
But did he go and visit her like as a kid and like whisper to her about singing?
My assumption is the dad was around in the opera house. She was around, and he just eavesdropped on the conversations that were had. And her dad saying shit like, when I die, I'll send an angel from heaven to help you sing.
And then he was like,
Yes,
sweet,
and-
that'll be me. And that'll give me purpose to keep going, because once she's old enough and this very specific scenario happens, I'll be able to swoop in. But then, he's like, finally, my time has come. And here comes fucking Raoul, that other kid that I knew.
No, he didn't
that
know
was
Raoul.
floating around when he did, because he must have, because
Yeah,
Raoul
because they
knew
were
her.
the same age.
They hung
were
out in
friends. I
the
think it was
attic
the
and
attic
like
in their house. That's the way I took it. In her house,
In
or
whose house?
Raoul's house.
that's what I'm saying. Okay, so it has to be Raoul's house, because I don't. Phantom wasn't leaving the opera house.
I don't think Phantom knew Raoul beforehand. He just he
was,
preyed
like,
on
separate
Christine's
from the-
grief when her dad died, and he was setting up his master plan. And then this dude showed up and put a kink in the plan.
Yeah.
He's like, "What the fuck? Who the fuck are you just appearing? And you two have a history."
Right. Some
Yeah, and they're
handsome
the same
rich
age.
guy.
So Christine's apparently 20, and Phantom is like 40. Yeah, 20 years is pushing it. I can't judge. I'm in a relationship. I'm
Okay,
13
so
years
if
older
she's
in my
like-
relationship, so I can't get too preachy.
That's different though, because once you're at this age, the discrepancy between your ages doesn't have any meaning, versus when you're if you're
In the film, she's apparently 16 because her age is in the 2004
The film?
movie. Her age is reduced. Her grave mark indicates she was born in 1854. Oh yeah, because they show her grave. The movie setting is 1870, so she's 16 when the story takes place. It was a different time. 16 was age of consent.
Okay, but let's play out this scenario. So if he's 25, is she 5?
Wait, what?
How
Who?
old is he? Oh, she's 20, he's 40?
There's no real age set for Phantom. But yes, it seems to be around 40. Could be. I see ranges. Could be late 30s. Some people say he's in his late 40s, but I don't think he's late 40s.
No. But it is weird to think of Phantom as in his 30s, because now I feel like he's like, it's weird to, at our age and growing up with Phantom and always thinking of him as this like just older person. Now it's like, are we older than Phantom's character? That's weird.
Yeah, the whole
He's in
thing
his
shifts. Going back to Sex and the City, I remember watching it when I was much younger, and Miranda saying something like, "I'm 32." I'm like, "Ugh, fuck, gross, old."
Yeah, doesn't Charlotte say like, I'm 35? I'm
Yes, and then
tired
you
of
get to the
looking
point where
lazy."
you're the same age, and like, oh fuck, and then you get to the point where you're much older. You're like, what? God damn it! Same thing with athletes. You know, as a kid, they seem so fucking old. It's like I'm going to watch the Braves play,
Yeah.
and the Tom Glavine is 23 at the time.
Yeah, they're so young. When I went to the baseball game recently, some kid up there was 20.
Yeah, but
was
when
like,
you're a
what the
child, they
fuck?
seem so old.
20?
And then you get to the point where you're the same age.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, fuck, well, I didn't do anything with my life.
Well, they seem so much older just because you're younger, but also they're in their profession. So you think
Yeah.
like they must have been like working on this for so long.
No, they
It's
were
like,
working
they're
on it
just
for so
22.
long. Their parents, whipped them and punished them and
yeah.
didn't feed them if they didn't want to play Little League Baseball. Like, my kid's going to be a fucking major leaguer. I don't give a fucking shit. Put out my cigarettes on your skin.
Damn, I don't think that would create a serial killer and not a baseball player.
Create the greatest baseball player ever.
He tours around and kills people in whatever towns they go to. No one would suspect him. I was at a baseball
but always
game.
on the road. I mean, the baseball players,
Yeah.
they do use
Never
it,
got caught.
to have constant affairs. So,
Yeah.
it's interesting. One hasn't used it to become a serial killer because of their pathetic
So,
fucking
Phantom-
dad who never lived up to his dad's expectations. And he's like, I'm a fucking failure in life, but my son will redeem all of us. Will redeem the family name.
Oh, I was going to say, okay, stop now. Listen, I was going to say, I tried to rewatch Romeo and Juliet, that one with Claire Danes and Leonardo DiCaprio. And well, first of all, just there was so much like nostalgia for it because I loved it so much when I was younger. And then I had the soundtrack and it was just the best. So rewatching it. And first of all, just how young they are, the actors, right? Like Leonardo DiCaprio has that skinny neck. Like he had, like when they start growing up and they're like kind of adults, but they're still little. Like they still have these teensy necks. And he had that teeny little neck. And then looking up, first of all, and then I was like, man, these kids are like, they're really dramatic. They're really freaking out about each other. And then I looked up like Shakespeare, how old they were. And they were like 14 and 15. I was like, why are we acting like this is the greatest love story ever told? This is the worst. These kids are such little brats. Like, I'm going to kill myself if we don't get together. Shut up. You're 14.
That's how it feels.
I know. It was so dramatic, but it's just, yikes. This is like Romeo and Juliet. Like, it's so romantic. No, it's just like, this is how I felt when I found out that the founding fathers of the United States were like in their early 20s. They're like 21 years old. Like Alexander Hamilton's like 19. You're like, okay. I don't think he was. But it was a lot of people that are our founding fathers were like
look, Jefferson,
22 years old. I'm like,
Jefferson
who are
was
we listening to these
33
idiots?
when he drafted the Declaration of Independence.
Yeah.
So then there was a range of ages at least. I hear what you're saying with some people being in their early 20s.
James Monroe, 18. Alexander Hamilton, 21.
Claire
James
Danes
Madison.
was 16 in Romeo and Juliet. DiCaprio was 21.
Like at least George Washington was 41.
I feel this way, with people, figures of authority, like police officers. It's like when you get pulled over and it's a 25-year-old. You're like, shut the fuck up. What the fuck?
Yeah.
It's like at some point in my life, the cop was older and you get scared, you get pulled over, you're like, I'm sorry, sir. I'm sorry, I'm so sorry. And then it's like, you're fucking got zits
Right.
all over your fucking face. You're pulling me over.
Well, that's how old people feel when they go and they need so much more like medical care. And then the person that comes in is, 24. And they're like, you're going to take care of me?
I would have more trust. I would still, yes, there would be some hesitation when if a child doctor walks into the room. I think if it was a general practitioner, I wouldn't feel as worried. If it was a surgeon, I'd think, what the fuck? But so much
like not enough
training does go
experience.
into it. Then again, you realize, the one thing I've realized as I've grown older is that in people in any position of authority or a position of profession, you realize a lot of it's really just bullshit. When you're a kid, you put so much trust and faith into adults just because they're adults. And as you grow up, you're like, what the fuck? It's just a person who doesn't really want to be doing the fucking job. Like with doctors, again, I hope and feel the amount of effort and work and money and time that goes into that the person's really invested into it. At least until they get established, and then they want to become lazy and start their own practice and just dump the work off into other people while they collect a paycheck. But that's fine. That's not so bad.
Okay.
They're still not hurting people. I mean, there are doctors who do hurt people. The doctors who agree to this outrageous plastic surgery when a woman wants I want double Z breasts.
Yeah.
I've already had 16 augmentations.
When their lips look insane, you're like, what doctor is...
I saw a
allowing this?
woman who looks like, actually, I think it was posted on the radio show's Facebook group. a woman who had so much plastic surgery, her face looked like handsome Squidward. And
it's not surprising.
It's like, what fucking...
I mean, look at Darcy.
Who are these doctors that do this? Like, to me, that's
what I'm saying. It's wild. They shouldn't be allowed to practice. It seems like unethical.
Well, it's a difficult one to speak to, because at the end of the day, a person is responsible for themselves, and who are you to tell them not to do something? But I do feel as though there are doctors preying. To me, that's what it feels like, preying on these types of people who have body image issues, who are taking it to the extreme, and something's up. And at the end of the day, yes, it is still their choice to do it. But as a doctor, I would say, I'm not doing that. And I know plenty do say that. But there's always the ones who say, okay, I'll take your money.
Yeah. I guess they have their own sort of ideas about ethics, right?
Again, if you believe that adults should be responsible for themselves and able to make their own decisions without being told no by other people, then...
Right, like who am I to tell that person that they shouldn't do this? Well, I mean, couldn't they say that it's like a risk to their health because this is the fourth rhinoplasty that you're asking for, and it's now I'm compromising the like structure of your nose?
That's what the dudes do on that TV show, Botched. Don't they say? They fix them, but sometimes they say, we're not doing any more surgeries.
Oh, that's right. They say
try
no.
to fix people who've had bad surgeries, but the people who come in who want more, quite often they say no. And
but those are fake.
I don't know how fake they are.
Well, no. I just mean that they already know. Like they already know that they're going to say no.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, they're fake because the real people that go on that want surgery are usually not like characters.
I don't know if they already know. I agree with you that producers set things up, but I wonder how much the person going in asking for another surgery knows that they're going to say no. Like maybe the producers know they're going to say no.
Maybe it's a hint. Maybe it's some little bit of this, little bit of that, because I know that some of them are like not really wanting to get more surgery. It's just they want some clout. You know, they're getting like promoted, like the drag queen that does the Madonna impersonator. Like he wanted some extra things done and they were like, no, we're not going to do it. And I was like, that's because he was just on because he's a local in California and, got some like free advertising or whatever. Or like Frenchie from Rock of Love. She was on there and they told her like, no, we're not going to do your surgery. And it's like, yeah, no shit.
Some of it could be... No,
do you remember who Frenchie is?
Oh
man, she was fun.
I could see some of it being rage bait too, in the sense that the person goes in. Let's say they already do know that they're going to be told no, but then the doctors give their opinion and say this is dangerous, it could kill you, fake or not. Like if they aren't really intending on having the surgery, it doesn't really matter. After the fact, though, then the person says, I'm going to go look for a second opinion. And even if that's just something they're saying, like, it stirs emotion. It's like, what the fuck, you idiot? Didn't you hear what they just said? You're going to die, and you're still saying, go look for another opinion.
Yeah. I'm going to go to Mexico. I'm going to go to
right
Tijuana.
Where they want you. Except there's no comment section for you to go scream at nobody. To pump your fist into the digital air and say, what the fuck, you idiot? What was I watching the other day? I don't know. There's so much crap that pops up on social media.
Yeah.
And I know you and I've talked about rage bait before, where people are, nasty to waiters or something because it gets a lot of engagement, and where things like typos in articles these days, there's this idea that they leave them there on purpose. I think it's twofold. I do think there are no editors anymore. And when you write things yourself and you read back, it is easier to miss mistakes. But I do sometimes there are certain things. I wish I could think of a specific example. It's like, no, that feels like that was done on purpose because it's in the headline, which is the one thing that even if you're editing yourself, you're going to catch, and that gets people to
Right.
click on it so they can go call you an idiot in the comments, and you don't really care if they read your article, if they care about your article. You don't even care if your article is presenting any thoughtful stance, if it has a point or an opinion worth having. It's just like, I got people to click on it. It's a good job. You did your fucking job.
Yeah.
And that is highly disappointing. Journalists in general feel like, the profession, I don't even know if it exists anymore. It feels like at some point journalists decided, state of the industry aside, decided that they just wanted to be famous, and they didn't really care about investigating and exposing things and writing stories. So that kind of fucked things up too. It's like, all that matters is being famous, and then somebody lays out all the paths forward to get famous. And they choose one, and they say, this seems like this will get me to where I want to go. Sad state of affairs.
I was thinking about people looking for something like that and acting that way. And what is their life like?
Do you not think it exists? I think that so many people just want to be famous.
Yeah. So I mean, though, like, what's their downtime like? Is their downtime like really sad and boring? Like that it's unfulfilled and they can't, like, that's the only way for them to find happiness is through this like very external.
Well,
way. That's sad.
I was going to ask what the drive is. There's the obvious things, like, yeah, you get attention, and that's about it, really. I think these days. In the past, you could say if you got famous, you did something to deserve that fame. So you conceivably had some sort of work that you did that people appreciate, and that's nice. I understand that pursuit. It's like, wow, I created something and people really enjoy this, and by default, I became famous. But chasing fame for fame, even these days when people aren't fucking chasing fame and then suddenly have it with the goddamn Hawk Tuah girl getting how much for a podcast, and why? Who's making the decision that this person has anything to say, that anyone wants to fucking hear it? And what did she do to even deserve it? I don't even blame her. If somebody came up to me and said, here's a pile of fucking cash do a podcast, I may say, why? Do you even know if I'm good at a podcast? But it doesn't seem to matter. The person who has the money is like, take it all. What the fuck is that about? So it sets up this system where people see that you don't even have to have talent to get fame. You just need to have some weird viral video, and then apparently people are going to drive a dump truck of cash to your house and say, here you go. Because of that dumb fucking video, right place, right time, you being drunk and stupid as fuck. What you said was not clever. It wasn't fucking funny. I know other people found it. I thought it was dumb. Funny. That's it. So here you go. Riches. Fucking don't. It blows my mind. I'm at a loss of words to articulate it more than this stumbling and stuttering, because there's no fucking rationale behind it. When rationality falls away, it's like that. I was thinking about this the other day when some people think that I'm negative or I complain about things, which I do. But I was trying to figure out what the lines are and like what causes it. And I think I also am pretty reasonable quite often. And it's not like I'm constantly running around screaming and yelling. I feel as though I can be pretty passive. I'm like, yeah, whatever. I don't give a shit. Do whatever you want. But it's like, what is the thing that pushes me over? And it's just when things don't make sense, which seems to be everything these days.
Yeah. It is hard. It's really hard, especially with your personality traits you're talking about. Like, it's hard for you to stay passive, I guess, in those moments. Because I also feel like things don't make sense. And, I mean, this Haktua thing doesn't bother me. You know, I think it is wild, you know. But, you know, things like
Why
this
shouldn't it
happen.
bother you?
It's fine. Whatever. Well, that has nothing to do with me.
Yeah,
Good
but
for her.
Good for her, but bigger picture, other people see this, and this is what motivates them. I want that.
Right, but that's on them to figure out.
So it opens
that
It opens
and
the floodgate
that
to a bunch
motivation.
of fucking morons just doing everything. I mean, it.
Well, that's fine. They can go ahead and do that. That's fine. Go for it.
when
Maybe
there's
some of
no
them will be good at it.
escape-
And then everybody else will just fall to the wayside. Even this Haktua podcast, I predict. I mean, listen, if it gets maybe she's really good. I don't know, but I'm guessing she might not be. And then she's just going to get on her podcast and be like, all right, y'all, like, there's so much going on and it's crazy out there. And I think it's weird and crazy, y'all. Wow.
Who paid her? Someone paid her $30,000 to go to a party. Why? Is that a draw? Do you see an invite to a party and you say, I don't know. What? Never mind. The Haktua girl's going to be there, so I need to fucking go. To me, that's run the opposite direction and don't go to that party. But apparently, there's enough people out there that are drawn to this. And again, I'm with you in the sense that good for her. Like, I don't blame her.
Right.
She wasn't even seeking fame. It was just, it really to her was just all coincidence. It's like, I'm drunk and
really
this guy
was.
stopped me on the street and I said this dumb thing and now I don't know what the fuck's going on in my life. But I do think it sets the table at that point for other people to try to replicate it in their own way. And then it's like, oh God, I know they won't be able to, but we're going to have to see the shit that they're pushing out there.
Yeah, what do you mean we'll see it? It won't be successful, so who cares? We won't see it. I think, too, it puts a lot of pressure on her the next time she is
No one even knows her.
going downtown. She's
one even-
got to Haktua that thing.
No
And
one
what if she
even
doesn't
knows
feel
her
like it?
name. Yeah.
Haktua girl.
How do you think she feels? I
feel like it's Ashley.
Haley.
Oh, I was pretty close.
Nobody even knows her name. Like,
Yeah.
sitting in
Haley Welch.
let's imagine her sitting at home in a moment of silence, contemplating her life. Do you think it bothers her that, and I know it's easy to say, I don't give a shit, I got a bunch of money now, but we all know at the end of the day that's not going to solve problems or ultimately make you happy. It's nice. Yeah, it's nice.
makes
I'd
things
love
easier.
a lot of money for doing nothing. But do you think it bothers her that nobody actually knows her name? She is known as the Haktua girl, and she can never escape that. So let's say she really is good.
Well, she can escape that because as long as she just doesn't go around saying, I'm the Haktua girl, and she goes around saying, my name's Haley Welch, people will be like, okay, come on in. Because they don't know her.
But
They don't
let's
know
say
Haley
she's
Welch. They
actually
know
really
Haktua.
good at the podcast, and
Oh, okay, sure.
can create a career out of this. I doubt this is going to be the case, but let's say she'll never be able to escape it. She will always be known as the Haktua girl. So if she gets some level of success, and then people are like, oh, well, she does have thoughts, but still, she is the Haktua girl.
That's fine. Because then if she is successful, then those other things will start
I don't
to
think it does.
overshadow the Haktua thing. And the reason why it doesn't happen is because you continue to just ride that Haktua thing and don't do anything else. Just like Jimmy Walker or whatever, when he was said dynamite, and then he, was, 30 years, 20 years later, he's like, I don't say dynamite. Like, don't ask me about dynamite. Well, like, what have you done since? I have no idea.
But that's
because you're still
different.
just the dynamite guy.
That's
If you
different.
No, it's not.
That's different.
She's
No,
Haktua.
it's
He's
different because
dynamite.
he had talent and was cast to be in a show as an actor. So
Was he
Well,
an
whatever.
actor?
You have to admit this is like he went through a process, and somebody watched him in his audition and said, "All right, you are what we're looking for." So conceivably, there's some kind of talent there, and then you get pigeonholed to being the dynamite guy.
Yeah.
And you're like,
Pigeon-held.
what the fuck? I didn't ask for this. But because, again, you were cast for other reasons, because you at least offered a show, even if you're not the greatest actor in the world, you offered a show what the show needed. To me, that's different than just stumbling out on the street drunk and saying, yeah, a dumb fucking thing. So I would be more angry, and it makes more sense for the Dynamite guy to be pissed about it. The Hawktua girl, at the end of the day, really, it should go back to, well, I didn't deserve any of this to begin with. So do I have... and this is, again, assuming that she is able to parlay this into some successful career, which I don't think will happen, and I think it will fade away. But I think you have to embrace it a bit more if it does lead you to success, because you're like, I don't know, that's the dumb thing that got me here in the first place.
I don't know. Maybe she'll be able to handle it. You know, maybe she'll be able to, like, be able to say, "Yep, that's how I started, and now I'm doing this." You know, we'll see.
You would have to embrace it. I think that's what I was like. Yep, that's me.
Yeah, and like not make it a big deal, because if you make it a big deal, then people are going to push back and have lots of opinions about it. But if you just be like, "Yeah, you're right. Like that is how I started." It's crazy. You know, then maybe it's
I thought she was done when she went to the music festival. Nobody gave a shit about her. I was happy. It's like she went on stage because the way she goes up there, well,
they probably hype her up, and plus she's probably getting paid a lot to be there. So, what are you going to do? You're going to like not act like you're going to give them the performance because that's what you're paid to be there for. Because all you got is Hawktua.
You should be you better absolutely perform. So ashamed. Sure, they pay you and you go on stage, but you don't go up there walking around like you're hot shit. You're like, look, guys, I'm sorry that I'm here. I'm sorry that this exists in the first place. I think you can understand. I think this would go a long way. I think this would get reactions. Like
no, for you, everybody else would be like,
I'd say, I think you can understand that I don't deserve to be up here, but also if you were offered a lot of money to be up here like I have been offered.
She has to do this at every appearance.
But we're going to get to it. Don't worry. We're going to get to it. I'm going to say the fucking thing. I just want you to know that I am aware that this is completely ridiculous and I don't really deserve any of this. So I apologize.
That is not in the spirit of Hawktua.
But
Hawktua isn't about that. Hawktua is about having fun and embracing stuff.
I hit my computer with my hand.
Oh.
On some level.
Well, yeah, usually.
It's not really mad. I'm not mad. It's just
I know.
Of course, Jake Paul is the one who gave her. Like,
I know. That makes it worse. This guy.
Fucking.
I think if that's where I think I would meet with what you're saying, is that if it would be Jake Paul's thing, I'd be like, oh. I mean, I'll take the money, but I hate that it's just Jake Paul.
But Vine, your favorite
Which is
platform,
the one that was
created him. Vine.
YouTube?
That says
no, he
Paul
was not
began
on Vine.
His career on Vine.
Well, he might have began his career, but that doesn't mean that he was successful.
5.3 million followers and 7 million plays on the app. On Vine.
On Vine?
And then
well, he wasn't on good Vine. There's no compilation of Vines that include him. Nowhere.
Well,
so he's not that successful. This is a puff piece.
Something.
That's not okay. Let me ask you, which is the one that they went to Japan and they were really disrespectful and went to that like suicide forest? That was a Jake Paul, or that was a Paul. Aaron Paul. Which is the one that does the fighter? I don't understand.
Who's the one we were just talking about? Jake. Jake's the fighter.
Jake Paul. And he's the one that gave Hawktua money?
His company. Logan Paul was the Japanese.
Logan.
One.
And is he canceled? Is he around?
They're all.
How many Pauls are there?
Wait, no, Logan Paul's a fighter too.
Pauls.
So I'm also confused because I thought Jake Paul was fighting Mike Tyson. I guess they're all fighting.
Everyone's
they
fighting
all
Mike
fight.
Tyson.
At the end of the day, what this
Get nothing for nothing.
boils down to is I really just want to see humility. Like, none of these people, the way they conduct themselves and carry themselves as if there's something special. I don't give a shit that they have money and took advantage of something that was presented to them. We would all do that. I like to think that I wouldn't, and I maybe actually wouldn't, and then I would regret it at some point in life. But I could see...
Sure.
I could
why
see
don't you just take
myself in the
advantage?
moment like, fuck you. You think I'm going to do this? I'm not like these other people. And then, I'm fucking poor. Social Security is run out in the country and none of us have retirements. And I think I should have taken that money for that dumb thing. But if I took it, I think I wouldn't really go on stage and give that long speech that I just presented to you. But it's, I would have to carry myself. It's like, I know this is all dumb. It is. I get it. But these people really buy into this legend, it seems, especially the Pauls. I'm sure that there are people out there who don't act like that. But these people think they're hot shit. Like, they think they're something special. It's like, you're not. You're not.
I wonder if they really do think that, though. Because what you see versus maybe what they're like when they're not performing, I wonder it could be different. I'm not trying to take up for any of those Pauls because I'm really irritated by them. But I'm also irritated by Mr. Beast, even though I hear that he's not a bad guy.
That's the thing that's going around
really?
these days. People who work for Mr. Beast are starting to post those videos revealing all the bullshit that goes along with it. I don't know. I didn't really get into it. I clicked on one of them once, and the video was like 20 minutes. And what is that mongrel doing?
I don't know. Baby! What are you doing? No bark. Hey.
Mongrel.
No bark. Hey. Baby. No bark. What's wrong with you? Why are you barking at nothing? Well, so... Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what he's doing. Oh, my foot's asleep.
The mongrel's losing his mind.
He loves to bark.
Yeah, but this is the most extreme case of barks that I've come across.
I know. What's he up to?
Calm the fuck down.
There's an ad next to this Haktua girl it's a pregnancy test, and it has 2 lines on it, and it says it's complicated, and then it says men underneath it.
I hate it all. I fucking hate it all. I hate the pathetic advertisers and ad agencies that just jump on, this is hot right now, and let's exploit this to sell our fucking product. Like, that's what it's devolved into. The whole thing is just personalities are the way to go. We got to find these. Oh,
I'm not even talking about that. I just thought it was a weird ad.
It is a weird ad.
What does it mean? Men. You know what I really hate at the bottom of articles when you're scrolling down, and maybe I'm looking for like a comment or something, and you see like a disgusting like boil, and like someone's gonna pop it, and it's like 5 ways to avoid cancer. Like, ew, why are you making me see this disgusting pus? Yes. Have you seen those?
Because
why do they do that?
You are reacting to it the way you are.
Yeah, but I don't click on it. It makes me never want to look at that again. Look at, so this person named, where'd it go? I can't even look at the comment now. God, this page. I'm looking at the Daily Mail, which is just
all of those.
Garbage.
The Sun. They destroy your computer.
Yeah.
So many ads.
I was looking at a comment. Oh, okay. It says, Mr. Brightside, sad state of things. She is known for number one thing. I don't blame her for trying to capitalizing on her fame and make the most of it, period. Just amazed she is able to do it. The line between empowering women and exploiting women has become incredibly blurred.
Who wrote that? What is this?
Is this Mr. Brightside?
I can't deal with it. It's all just like traps. Everything is set up as a trap.
Oh my gosh. So, and then someone, Numpty and all but name. These are all British people. How is she being exploited? Have you actually watched any interviews she's been in? If you had, you'd see she's no dummy. London, United Kingdom.
I don't know why the person feels the need to stand up for her. Maybe she's not a dummy.
It's weird. Maybe not, and that's fine. But now she's got to like Haktua on every dick that she goes down on because she's the Haktua girl, and that's probably pretty annoying. That's what I'd be annoyed by more. I'd be able to handle all this other stuff where it's like, I'm going to ride this wave and get this money and whatever, but I don't know. And she's young. It's not like she's, she's got a whole life ahead of her after this ends. But then I'd be like, people would find out I'm the Haktua girl, and then they'd expect me to Haktua every time. I don't want to Haktua.
Then you put an end to it. You don't take the money and you disappear.
Yeah, I guess. But I'm saying, like, once they find out that you're Haktua, and then you're going
Pick your
downtown.
poison. I mean, look, in 10 years, she's not going to.
They're like, oh, it's going to happen. It's going to happen.
In 10
she's
years,
gonna Haktua.
No one's even going to know. Like, it looks wise. And they're not even be able to piece it together. She's not going to age well, I can tell.
I was the Haktua girl. Remember me, everybody?
Yeah, this is the stories. Instead of, I was in theater, but then I met your fucking grandfather and got pregnant, and I had to give it all up. It's nice. Grandma was an artist. She was pursuing something, and now the grandmothers are just going to talk about being the Haktua girl.
Maybe, she's gonna ride this out, and then she's gonna go back, enroll back in school or whatever she was up to, and she's gonna be a dental assistant or whatever. Maybe she's going to orthodontic school, dental.
I'd like to state that I'm not just judging women who don't age well. In general, I have a real talent. I can look at someone's face and project into the future and see what they're going to look like when they get older. And yeah, I realize that I do. I can look and tell. And
wow.
So if she's not telling anyone in 10 years who she is, no one's going to put it together.
But I'm saying eventually it's going to come out.
No.
Especially if you Google somebody, right? Like if you're dating someone and you're like, who is this person? Well, I guess women do that more with men. Do men Google up their person they're going to go see?
Yeah, on some level. I know what is...
Baby.
I'm going to buy a muzzle.
Baby. No bark.
No, not if you really strap it down.
It doesn't work like that anymore. It's like a cage. It's like a cock cage.
So Mr. Beast, all these videos coming out about Mr. Beast not being a good guy, treats his employees like shit. It's all about image. The guy who pretends to be autistic who loves trains, that's an act. That's pretty disappointing, isn't it?
Oh,
the guy who puts
TikTok?
like the 360 camera on his face so it distorts his face and he looks really fucking goofy and he gets excited about like a certain locomotive that's coming through town.
Oh, I don't know him. I just know the one that like will talk about like a train that's coming and like know what type and like really excited the type it is. But I've never seen the perspective.
Guy who gets
it might be
excited about trains.
But really quickly, the Mr. Beast thing, it's hard because people complaining about someone being a bad boss, sometimes, you have to take it with a little bit of a grain of salt. You're like, it could have just been that they were a bad employee. Yeah, so I don't know. But I wouldn't be surprised. I do get a vibe that he's like not as sort of, what is it, like altruistic as he
Well, these things grow. Like they grow to this level where it does have to be like a professional operation where you have full staff and then the image needs to be maintained. However it first started, I don't know.
Right.
Like
that's what I mean. I don't know
what the Mr. Beast did.
I don't know. He gave a bunch of money to people.
The train guy is Luke Magnus Nicholson, who goes by Francis Bourgeois.
Whoa, that's very different than all of that.
Magnus Nicholson.
What's this?
This guy, the way he talks about trains, like he comes off like he's autistic. And I've read about it, and apparently he's not at all. And so real autistic people or people who have autistic family members are really pissed.
Personality model.
Yeah, I mean,
author.
you're not any of those things. The fact that you fucking listed as a model and an author, it just means you're grasping at fucking straws and you were looking for the one path forward that would get you to the fucking dumb fame. And what worked for you? Pretending to be autistic and really liking trains. It's sad. I just find just deep sadness in it. If you sit there and you look at it for what it is the most depressing fucking thing. We get wrapped up in like the presentation and you don't really there's so much shit going on in the periphery that it's hard to look at it for what it is. But if you pull yourself out of it and you just, let's say you're watching from above and watching all these humans scramble for any piece of notoriety that they can get and the ways they're willing to go about doing it, it is depressing.
Yeah, it's strange that he changed his name to protect himself from his schoolmates.
It's a lie.
Bullying him for being into trains because it's nerdy, but it's like he's making whole videos.
It's a lie.
So how
exactly?
would
It's a
you
lie.
be protecting
and you
yourself?
also don't change your name to what he changed it to, Francis. Yeah, you
Bourgeois.
just pick a normal.
No. Like Nigel Ratcliffe.
You knew what you were doing.
Yeah. Well, that's pretty annoying. Also, the other day, we'll end it with this. Maybe you can tell me. Were you on the show when Eric said that he found someone that proved that Celine Dion wasn't singing
No.
live at the Olympics? So he was trying to tell me, like, this guy, he look it up. His name's like Robert or something. Look him up. Robert. He proved it. I was like, who's Robert? Who are you talking about?
So what did he say? He watched
Well, I don't know. He said, look it up. So I wasn't on that week. And so he was like, it was a bummer that you weren't there because I wanted to prove it to you that she wasn't singing live. And I was like, okay, so you found one person. Who's that?
I'd be curious.
Who's that?
Yeah, it feels like one of those.
Yeah, I'd like to see.
It feels like one of those things
but-
where it's like, I found a guy who did a video. The thing he
Right.
The
It
thing
does
he rails
seem
against.
Exactly like that.
You can't just believe what
Yeah.
you see. You need to do research. You got to look into things. Blah, 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 blah.
Right.
And then Robert. She did sing.
Yep.
Didn't she?
I'm everywhere. So I looked it up afterward, to keep looking. And every official place says that she was singing. Now, I understand it does make it more impactful for her to be singing live than admit that she wasn't singing live. But the whole thing with Lady Gaga, she wasn't. Jesus, baby. She wasn't singing live.
Can you put him in a jar or something?
Well, I have my window open because it's really nice out, and I guess maybe he sees things that he doesn't like squirrels,
What a disaster of a show.
people.
This is the show that I'm leaving people with. My flight tonight.
Baby. Shh. Where's my? I have a collar on him that beeps or vibrates or shocks him, but I don't shock him.
How
But
do you even
I don't
exist
have the
like
remote
this?
with me.
Outside of trying to record. There's no peace.
Well, I can't get up and stop him because I'm recording. Here, I'll stop him. Hold on. Hey, baby. No bark.
Mongrel. Bark, 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 bark. Bark, bark, bark. Bark, bark. I'm just doing what I do. I'm a dog. I'm just doing what I do. I hawk too. I just built in. It's nature.
Baby, stop. I can't find the remote, but I did. Hey, stop it. Baby, no bark. No.
If Celine Dion sang, it's impactful because, all the stiff body syndrome, stiff person, whatever it's called. She's
Yeah.
been through actual hell. And
Yeah.
to get out there and sing, yes, that means something. Lady Gaga, It's like, whatever.
Sure.
People are not happy with...
Celine Dion, Olympics live or not?
I mean, the fact that it's being analyzed this much anyway.
I know. Ultimately...
Why does anyone care?
I mean, I guess because it feels so inspirational and really cool that she did it. And then if it wasn't, and then presented as a lie, it feels like you're being tricked.
Yeah, just like everyone else that gets a pass. It's like, oh, the train guy, who cares if it's an act? Who gives a shit? But
Right.
Celine Dion, who actually has talent, well, I don't know. If she lied about that, then I just really can't handle that.
But it also seems like it's okay. No, it seems doable because she does sing live all the time. Not since 4 years because of her problem, but like she is a live performer. So it wouldn't be like for her to be so good at it doesn't seem that crazy to me. You know, it's not like, well, like Mariah Carey doing it, I would be more surprised because we've seen her sing live and do
the
it
isolated
poorly.
vocals for the dumb Christmas song.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, my 5-octave vocal range starts screeching even in your youth was not an octave.
It's throat whistling. It's whistling with your
that was not
vocal
an
cords.
octave.
That's all
that was
is.
just screeching like a fucking bird, like a hawk. She shouldn't have gotten so much credit. Like there was enough talent. Why do you need to add on 5 octaves? 5 octaves.
Got me feeling emotion. And that one where she's like,
She's an asshole who treats people like shit. Just like
Yeah.
Mr. Beast.
I kind of like that she's
You like
a bitch,
that?
though.
You like that it's all gone to her head? That
little
she
bit.
thinks she's deserving
No, I
of
just-
more because she could sing?
No, I don't. I mean, it's kind of like as a character, I
She
kind of
could
like
sing. You're all going to die. It's still going to happen. You're going to die. And
it. I love that Gojira played. Okay, sorry, I'm looking at the Reddit now of Celine
all
Dion.
right, well, you can look next time we record, you can report back on your findings. Did she sing live?
Everywhere says that she
I
sang
saw it. I
live.
thought she sang live. Gaga was dealing with rain and bad weather. Didn't somebody slip and fall?
Yeah. Yeah,
And,
one of the
you know,
dancers.
she's fallen out of favor anyway because she does that commercial for some pharmaceutical. So people aren't happy about that. And apparently Joker 2 is not getting good reviews. It's the critics. Who knows? You know, remember the first one? The first one, it was the same mixed reviews. Like, this is a bad message. Incels are going to uprise.
Oh, right.
It's a fuck. Going back to the, is this rational or not? If it were a movie about some unknown character and it really glorified the fact that he was a loser and the way he got back at the world is by killing people and, shit like, then I can understand. It's like, this message is questionable. It's a fucking comic book character. It's Joker. We know Joker is insane. We know that he kills a lot of people.
Yeah.
You're looking way too deep into this shit. So the people who felt a real need to like demonize the movie, it's a fucking comic book character. Shut the fuck
Yeah, it is
up.
strange.
I know they've based it in more realism than past incarnations of Joker, but shut the fuck up.
Everybody shut the fuck up, including baby.
I just don't know why people can't look at things and like, let me just analyze this rationally. And then whatever conclusions you draw, even if I don't agree, then I won't get angry. I'm like, that makes sense. Look, it makes sense. But
Yeah. People are bored.
I don't know if that's a good enough excuse.
Yeah, I don't think people are bored. I think that people don't want to look at their own stuff because that's too painful. So they'll look at everything else around them and have that to freak out about because that will keep them from freaking out about the things that were
bored.
actually important. Like the fact that daddy
They're
didn't
lazy.
love me.
They're desperate.
Yeah.
And I know. I'm well aware that my bitching about it can get old, but that's when I really, like I said the other day, was like, what drives this? And that's what I came up with. It's like, if you're rational, I'm fine with it. I do really believe in live and let live, but
Sure.
the decisions that are being made across the board by everyone involved on every level, it's like, none of this fucking makes sense. It's so desperate and pathetic. And on that note, we're at 1:05.
Cool. All right, everybody.
Goodbye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Love you. Bye.